Back in the day, every family kept canned and refrigerated biscuits tucked away carefully like a precious food reserve. When money was tight and meals became a challenge, our grandparents got creative, turning that humble can into satisfying quality meals. Today, let's open up those memories and discover 25 tricks using canned biscuits that Grandma used, tricks that are simple, smart, and will definitely make you want to try them right away. Savory biscuit and gravy casserole. We can still hear the satisfying sizzle and feel the warm atmosphere spread throughout the kitchen whenever Grandma made this favorite breakfast casserole. To create this hearty dish, the preparation takes a little bit of care, but it's super simple. Next, she sprinkled a decent amount of cheese over the cut biscuit dough to add richness and flavor. Then, she whisked fresh eggs with milk, seasoned them with a little salt and pepper, and poured this mixture over the biscuits and cheese. Finally, the most important topping was the rich sausage and cream gravy mixture, spread evenly on top. The dish was baked in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes until the egg set and became perfectly fluffy. The cleverness of this recipe is that canned biscuits work better than using regular bread chunks because the biscuit dough doesn't absorb all the egg, so the dish isn't soggy but still stays perfectly fluffy. This dish not only provides lots of energy, but also offers pure comfort and rich flavor. This was often the dish people made on holiday mornings, making the family atmosphere especially cozy and connected, becoming an essential part of our sweetest memories. Apple pie, cinnamon roll, bubble up. Whenever this apple pie, cinnamon roll, bubble up is mentioned, memories of chilly holiday mornings rush back when the kitchen was filled with a sweet and warm aroma. Grandma cleverly made this dish using biscuit dough instead of cinnamon roll dough, giving the cake a nice balance between sweet and savory without being too heavy. First, the biscuits were cut into small squares. She poured heavy cream into the bottom of the baking dish to ensure the biscuits absorbed moisture, keeping the dessert from getting dry. Then, she layered the dough on top, gently covering it with a layer of ready-made apple pie filling, creating a balance between sweet and mild tartness. The final highlight was the crispy streusel topping, made from a mixture of brown sugar, oats, melted butter, and cinnamon. The dish was baked at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes until the surface was golden brown and the filling was bubbling gently. This recipe provides the same satisfaction as enjoying a cinnamon roll or a traditional cobbler. What's special is that Grandma achieved this without much effort of making dough from scratch. Economically, this dish is also much cheaper than buying pre-made donuts. Farmhouse BBQ muffins. In the memories of those who love savory dishes, these Farmhouse BBQ muffins always hold a special place. This is an exciting savory variation developed based on the classic sweet muffin dessert format. People attending those old-fashioned potluck parties always remembered that this dish was so delicious, everyone was happy to eat it again and again. The savory, rich flavor of the meat and BBQ sauce blended in the soft biscuit shell is an unforgettable experience. This recipe focuses entirely on the savory and bold flavors. Grandma often recommended using Southern home-style biscuits. This type of biscuit is the key because they add a layer of distinct, tangy flavor that perfectly matches the smoky and sweet and sour taste of the BBQ sauce. She firmly pressed the round dough pieces into each muffin tin. This created a stable and sturdy crust. Then, she filled the tins with a pre-made mixture including BBQ sauce, seasoned ground meat, and a little cheese. This combination created a complete, substantial, and flavorful savory muffin. It also demonstrated the spirit of creativity in the kitchen, turning an ingredient originally meant for a sweet dish into a perfect savory treat for gatherings. Isn't that neat? If you find these dishes both new and interesting, hit HYPE to keep exploring these wonderful recipes. Ham and cheese biscuit stacks. This wasn't just a regular snack. It redefined the idea many people had about what a can of biscuits could really do. This savory dish was often served with a tasty spread, maybe honey mustard or a bit of tamarind jam, depending on preference. To get the best flavor and texture, Grandma often chose to use immaculate baking organic flaky biscuits. The flaky characteristic of this biscuit is key to making the dish perfect. The special secret was using a very clean horizontal slice to divide the baked biscuit into 2 halves. Once the 2 golden brown biscuit halves were ready, she started layering. Between the 2 halves were ham, cheese, along with optional seasonings to boost the flavor, such as a little Dijon mustard or mayonnaise. Finally, the dish was put back into the oven for just a moment, long enough to melt the cheese. The melted cheese hugged the ham, creating an irresistible richness and binding texture. This recipe was considered an all-around powerhouse meal. Looking at those carefully stacked biscuits, we recall the care and love Grandma put into every family meal. Calzones mini calzones. This mini handheld calzone dish was a perfect and highly popular trick back in the day. This dish is so simple that kids could make it themselves under adult supervision, or it could be set up buffet style for sleepovers, creating fun and interaction for all the children. The process for making the calzones is also very simple. First, each biscuit was flattened and stretched out to create a thin crust, enough to wrap the filling. The filling inside could be incredibly varied. The classic choice was pizza filling with cheese, sauce, and mini pepperoni slices. Another, bolder variation was buffalo chicken filling. Finally, a small note. Grandma would make a few tiny slits on top of the pastry for steam to escape. This recipe is incredibly smart because it offers great convenience. These mini calzones could be assembled ahead of time before a party, or even frozen to become a quick snack after school, just needing to be reheated. It was considered a good party trick because it was easy to make, delicious, and fun to eat. Especially for the children back then, getting to participate in making the pastries and enjoying the result themselves was an unforgettable memory. Biscuit muffins, sweet or savory. These biscuit muffins, whether savory or sweet, were always affectionately called little biscuit bombs because they packed an explosive flavor in a small round shape. This dish was often seen as the perfect choice to bring out for brunch. They could be prepped ahead of time before baking, saving significant time on busy mornings. Grandma would flatten each biscuit and gently stuff the filling inside. If it was a savory dish, the filling might include diced bacon, scallion/green onions, and cheese. After stuffing the filling, she brushed whisked egg onto the surface of the pastries and sprinkled on everything bagel seasoning to create a crispy and fragrant outer crust for the savory version. Then, these bombs were baked at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes. If it was the sweet version, the filling might be jam or chocolate chips, topped with cinnamon sugar. What's amazing is that even though they started with just a humble can of biscuits, these pastries, when they came out of the oven, looked like they were bought from a professional bakery. The finished dish was described as cute, tasting like a soft dinner roll, and was highly recommended to make right away because of its simplicity and great flavor. Fruity pull-apart bread. This fruity pull-apart bread is a sweet, rich, and flavorful dish. The biscuit dough pieces were layered alternately with fruit jam or sliced fresh fruit. A secret to boosting the tropical flavor was using Pillsbury Hawaiian sweet pineapple biscuits. The mild sweetness and distinctive aroma of this biscuit type are the perfect foundation for the fruit. Each layer of dough and fruit was sprinkled with a bit of cinnamon to add warmth and a characteristic aroma. The bread was baked in a baking pan until golden and the layers stuck together. The cleverness of this recipe lies in the combination of cinnamon and the tropical sweetness of the biscuits. This blend creates a perfectly warm flavor, very suitable for enjoying on a chilly afternoon. Economically and conveniently, this dish only requires 1 can of biscuits and fruit, making it a simple yet highly effective dessert solution. For those who love fruit-stuffed foods, this dish is guaranteed that they will definitely love it. This pastry brings a sense of familiarity and is an example of creating hearty meals from basic ingredients. When pulling each piece of bread apart to enjoy, we feel not just the flavor, but also the love and cleverness of the person who made it. Pot pie topper. The trick of using canned biscuits as a topping for pies and cobblers was one of our grandparents' absolute favorite tips back then. We often saw Grandma do this more frequently than making traditional pie crust from scratch because of the convenience and the flavor being just as good. The finished dish, whether savory or sweet, always felt like a warm hug from your grandma. This trick can be applied to many different types of pies. The most popular are Hearty chicken pot pie or sloppy Joe pot pie, or sweet desserts like peach cobbler. To make the perfect topping, Grandma often separated the biscuit into 2 or 3 thin layers. Then she flattened these layers and arranged them on top of the pre-cooked filling in a skillet or pan. Finally, a layer of whisked egg was brushed onto the surface, and she sprinkled on a bit of flaky salt to increase the crispness and mild saltiness. This recipe is much easier than making pie crust from scratch. Moreover, it helps create a one-pan meal, which is both convenient and minimizes cleanup. The separated biscuit topping ensures the perfect bread-to-filling ratio, preventing the dish from being too doughy. Although it required less effort, the finished dish still looked very unique and appealing. When it came out of the oven, it was described as very golden, beautiful, and delicious. Tomato bacon cups. These tomato bacon cups are savory mini muffins, making for great single-bite plates for gatherings or simply as an indoor snack. They are a wonderful appetizer to enhance the flavor of any party or get-together. The compact, bite-sized nature and rich flavor made them a sought-after appetizer. The method for making this dish is extremely simple, but results in an explosive flavor. Grandma would fill the muffin tins with the pre-prepared filling mixture. The filling included partially cooked tomatoes, bacon, and cheese. The biscuits were then pressed into the tins to form a sturdy crust, encasing the filling. The dish explodes with a combination of salty bacon, slightly sour tomatoes, and creamy cheese wrapped in the biscuit crust. It is an example of our grandparents' culinary cleverness and convenience, transforming basic ingredients into a sophisticated dish. This dish is a great choice to add to any party, bringing the familiar and warm feeling of a homemade meal. Do you remember any of your grandparents' dishes that were the hit of the neighborhood, leaving everyone raving about them? Please share your story and experience in the comments below. Sloppy Joes with biscuit dough. Sloppy Joes is a classic country cuisine dish, typically known for its hearty tomato sauce ground beef filling. However, Grandma's clever recipe adapted this dish by using biscuit dough instead of a regular pie crust. This recipe focused on the familiar filling. The filling consisted of thoroughly cooked ground beef mixed with onions, bell peppers, and most importantly, the rich, slightly sweet and sour and mildly spicy sloppy Joe sauce. The crust was made by pressing the canned biscuit dough into the bottom of the baking dish. The biscuit dough created a thick, sturdy base to hold the meat filling on top. Although it was a bold creation, people remember that this mock dish struggled to find its place because it appeared at a time when people were still very familiar with and loved making regular pies. It also had the drawback of having a higher calorie count than the regular pie version, which was likely one of the reasons it wasn't widely adopted and gradually faded away. Later, when mentioned, it still evoked the feeling of a full, hearty, classic American-style dinner. Easy chicken and dumplings. In the list of dishes that provide pure comfort, this easy chicken and dumplings always ranks at the top. Using canned biscuits to make dumplings is considered the easiest way to prepare this Southern classic. The way to make this dish demonstrates great cleverness. Grandma would take the canned biscuits, gently roll them out, and cut them into strips to form flat dumplings. The key point is to drop them into the simmering chicken mixture. When cooking, it's important to ensure there are bubbles in the pot to help circulation, guaranteeing the dumplings cook evenly and absorb the flavor optimally. The chicken mixture usually consists of rich chicken broth with shredded chicken and vegetables. After the dumplings were cooked, she topped them with fresh parsley and pepper to enhance the flavor and appeal. This recipe is smart because It delivers comfort food, but is made easily. Dumplings made from biscuits have the characteristic that they absorb the flavor from the chicken broth wonderfully and become incredibly soft. This dish is so delicious and easy that people often wondered why anyone would bother making dumplings from scratch at home anymore. It's a testament to how our grandparents knew how to turn the convenience of canned ingredients into a high-quality traditional dish, bringing a deep sense of familiarity. Breakfast uncrustables, sausage and jelly cheese. The uncrustables, breakfast with sausage and jelly or cheese filling, is considered the easiest breakfast, and once created a viral sensation on social media, even though it was an old idea in our memories. It's the perfect combination of salty sausage and sweet jelly wrapped in a warm biscuit shell. We only need 2 to 3 main ingredients. First, Grandma would separate the biscuit into 2 halves, gently stretching it out a little so it was larger than the pre-cooked sausage patty. Then, she stuffed sausage along with grape jelly or cheese in the middle. To give the dish a neat shape, she would seal the edges of the pastry using a fork or a specialized cutter. This dish used to be the quick breakfast choice for busy mornings. Just grab and go. This is the proof of the cleverness of the previous generation, who always knew how to create convenient meals without needing any complicated technology. Classic monkey bread. This classic monkey bread is many people's favorite childhood breakfast. This is not just a dish, but a vibrant memory that creates strong family bonding. Perhaps you still clearly remember images of Mom shaking the canned biscuits inside a paper bag with the rich cinnamon sugar mixture. The rustling sound and the fragrant cinnamon smell spreading throughout the kitchen are an indelible memory. After the biscuits were cut into small pieces and evenly coated with cinnamon sugar, Grandma would carefully arrange them in a greased bundt pan. The crucial part that creates the charm of this pastry is the topping. She poured the melted brown sugar and butter mixture on top, ensuring every gap was filled by the rich caramelized sugar layer. This recipe is smart because canned biscuits have the ability to create perfect pull-apart bites, where each piece is soft inside and has a crispy caramelized sugar crust outside. This is my childhood, and many others, I think, a perfect dish that creates a wonderful bite and pure comfort. Biscuit waffles. Waffles made from canned biscuits is one of those kitchen tricks that makes everyone laugh because how can it be so simple? It used to be the perfect savior for busy mornings when people needed a hot meal without the hassle of mixing batter or cleaning up messy bowls. Anyone who grew up in those years remembers the sight of runny waffle batter spilling onto the kitchen counter, and this trick practically erased that painful memory. Just open the can of biscuits, place each piece in a mini waffle maker, close the lid, and wait a few minutes. They produced lovely, golden, crispy waffles that could be served with fresh strawberries, blueberries, or a drizzle of maple syrup. Because you didn't have to use liquid batter, they cooked almost half the time compared to traditional waffles, so anyone could make a whole batch for the family in just a few minutes. The most interesting thing is that no one thought a canned biscuit could turn into such a spot-on waffle. The flavor and soft, fluffy, buttery texture were just like waffles made from fresh dough. A small trick, but it clearly demonstrated the practicality, cleverness, and creativity of the grandparents' generation in turning ordinary things into surprisingly delicious treats. Pigs in a blanket. Pigs in a blanket is a classic 2-ingredient dish, often made with crescent rolls. However, canned biscuit dough works just as well and is even preferred by many people. The kids back then considered this dish everything because they always loved handheld foods that didn't require sitting down to eat with a knife and fork. Afternoons coming home from school with rumbling stomachs, and this was the quick and convenient solution. The way to make this dish is also very easy. We can use hot dogs or smoked sausage depending on preference. Grandma usually cut the biscuit in half, then rolled and stretched the dough piece to completely wrap the sausage. Then, the biscuit-wrapped sausages were baked until the crust was golden and evenly cooked. The bottom was golden and crispy. The dough inside was soft and fluffy, and the sausage filling was rich, creating a very well-rounded flavor. This is the no-bread, make-your-own solution type of meal, suitable for meals that need to be fast yet filling and delicious. Many people even prefer this version over crescent rolls because of the firmer texture and bolder flavor. It truly reflects the cooking spirit of the previous generation, taking the simplest ingredients and turning them into a dish that is convenient, high quality, and most importantly, always satisfying to everyone. If these tricks have brought back memories, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel to join us in discovering more forgotten things from the past and preserving the culinary heritage of our grandparents. Garlic knots. These garlic knots are a super savory, flavorful appetizer and an attractive twist on classic bar food. The pungent aroma of garlic and melted butter is always something we can't forget. Memories of this dish are tied to great snacks with high nibbling potential. We know this dish is highly addictive, to the point that kids back then would often inhale them quickly because they were so delicious. This is an excellent side dish if served with soup or salad. The method for making these garlic knots is incredibly simple and clever. Grandma would cut the biscuit in half, then roll each half into a long stick about 6 to 8 inches. The most fun step was tying them into knots neatly. The knotted pastries were then baked at 375 degrees. When the pastries were still warm out of the oven, she would brush the prepared garlic butter on top and sprinkle on fragrant Parmesan cheese. This recipe is smart because it yields the perfect portion size. Half a biscuit equals 1 garlic knot. What's special is that this dish tastes like homemade bread and pairs wonderfully with pizza, enhancing the meal's flavor. This dish is rated as highly addictive and deserves a return to the family dinner table. It demonstrates the cleverness of our grandparents in transforming simple ingredients into an appealing appetizer, with vivid and sensory descriptions that stimulate the senses. Biscuit donuts. Turning canned biscuits into donuts is a hack that makes people feel like they are watching a magic trick. Who would have thought that the simple can of biscuits could turn into such sweet and appealing pastries? Grandma would cut out the center of the biscuit to create the traditional donut shape, and the cutout dough would become the donut hole. Then, everything needed to be deep fried at a temperature of about 325 to 350 degrees until golden and puffed up. When the pastries were still warm, she would coat the donuts with a layer of cinnamon sugar or dip the donut holes into a sweet glaze. This recipe is smart because it's a 2-for-1 deal. We get both donuts and donut holes to enjoy. It significantly saves time compared to making dough at home. The greatest thing is that the pastry has layers similar to a cronut, a croissant and donut hybrid, creating a unique, crispy and layered texture. This dish only requires 1 ingredient: canned biscuits. This dish was considered pure magic in Grandma's kitchen. The biscuit donuts have characteristic softness and flakiness, meaning many layers, making them delicious and appealing. It provides a feeling of comfort and quality without much effort, a cleverness worth learning. We still remember the smell of hot oil and fragrant cinnamon sugar spreading when Grandma made this, a deeply nostalgic memory. Cheesy caramelized onion skillet bread. This cheesy caramelized onion skillet bread is like its own kind of biscuit lasagna. It's a multi-layered dough package that, when baked, oozes with rich flavor, delivering comfort, cheese, and sweet caramelized onion. This recipe requires careful arrangement, layering to achieve the best result, often using Pillsbury Grand's biscuits because of their size and thickness. The bread is baked in a skillet, creating an impressive layered structure. When piping hot, we pull it apart to reveal the layered deliciousness baked inside. The onions are thoroughly caramelized, providing a deep sweetness and irresistible umami flavor. The cleverness of this recipe lies in the visual and flavor effects. The golden biscuit crust on the outside only gives way to a paradise of brighter, gooey cheese inside. The contrast between the crispy crust and the soft, rich filling creates a wonderful culinary experience. This dish is considered worth all the effort. Despite requiring care and layering, it is a luxurious dish, created through our grandparents' cleverness, providing a feeling of warmth and pure satisfaction. Turtle skillets. This turtle skillet is a sweet dessert directly inspired by the rich flavors of pecans and caramel in turtle candies. This is a sweet creation, reminiscent of childhood days loving sweets. This dish is perfect for making your own trick or treat materials at home during holidays, creating fun and interaction for the whole family. It is a creative alternative to store-bought candy, bringing the warm flavor of a homemade dessert. The method for making this dish also requires layering skills. Grandma often used Pillsbury Grands or Trader Joe's buttermilk biscuits because they have a flavor closer to that of turtle candy. The main ingredients besides the biscuit dough and skillet include caramel sauce, pecans, chocolate chips, and it's usually served with cold ice cream while still hot. This recipe is smart because it is an interesting mock food recipe, mimicking the flavor of turtle candy perfectly. However, this dish is no longer as popular as it used to be because candy has become available in every store, which reduces the need to create desserts from scratch. Nevertheless, if you are an enthusiastic baker, you will surely love this turtle skillet dish because it requires meticulousness and provides an unforgettable rich flavor. Cheeseburger pockets. This cheeseburger pocket tastes exactly as its name suggests. Many people were very surprised to learn that canned biscuit dough could be used to make this convenient and richly flavored dish. It wraps the flavor of a traditional cheeseburger into a compact, easy-to-hold shape. Memories of this dish are linked to the period when people started shifting toward healthier eating, like salads, in the late 20th century. For this reason, this dish gradually became less relevant. It evokes the image of a period when high-energy, convenient meals were absolutely favored. The way to make this dish is extremely simple. Grandma would wrap seasoned ground beef and cheese in biscuit dough, then bake until the crust was golden brown. The beef filling was seasoned with cheeseburger flavors, usually mustard, onion, and pickles. This recipe is smart because it is a convenient snack, perfect for holding in hand and enjoying quickly. However, it was also noted that it was not exactly healthy due to the calorie count and richness. People joked that it was too easy to make, like having access to handheld grenades all the time, referring to its appeal and accessibility. This pocket pastry is proof of the cleverness in creating fast and hearty meals, even though it eventually had to make way for new eating trends. Beefy French onion pot pie. This beefy French onion pot pie stands out because it combines amazing flavor and simplicity. The ingredients for this dish are often basic staples always available in the kitchen, demonstrating our grandparents' spirit of frugality and cleverness. However, in our memories, this dish did not find a place on the list of regular meals because it was a bit too much for a normal daily meal, especially regarding calories. It was usually reserved for more special occasions when the family wanted a truly hearty meal. To make this dish, Grandma could use great value buttermilk biscuits or Pillsbury Grands for the biscuit topping. However, the caramelized onion filling is the real star of the show. The onions are cooked slowly and thoroughly to achieve a deep sweetness and rich umami flavor. This recipe is smart thanks to the French onion caramelization, which helps the filling reach flavor heights. The combination of onion sweetness, beef saltiness, and a slightly crispy biscuit crust creates an incredibly rich and appealing dish. This dish is described as incredibly flavorful and very simple. Nevertheless, if people wanted a luxurious pie, they usually made it from scratch, but this canned biscuit version is still an excellent choice for convenience and quality. Buffalo chicken pockets. This buffalo chicken pocket is a handy recipe if we only have canned biscuit dough on hand and are craving a more hearty meal. It is the combination of the strong flavor of spicy buffalo chicken and the softness of the biscuit crust. The way to make this dish is very simple. Biscuit dough is used to wrap the filling, which includes shredded buffalo chicken, cheese, and is mixed with ranch dressing or blue cheese dressing to balance the spice. After sealing, the pockets are baked until golden brown. This recipe is smart because it is a little lighter than the regular version, which makes it easier to indulge and less likely to cause bloating. This shows the cleverness in adjusting the recipe to suit needs. This dish is rated as slightly better than the Sloppy Joe's pie. perhaps thanks to the strong and appealing flavor of the buffalo sauce. It is a convenient culinary solution, providing comfort and satisfaction for quick meals. Chocolate lovers, strawberry shortcakes. This chocolate lover's strawberry shortcake is a fun and sweet twist based on the classic strawberry shortcake recipe, but using canned biscuits as the base. The method for making this requires a bit of skill to create the crust. Grandma would carefully flatten each biscuit. Then she mixed cocoa powder and granulated sugar together. The special part is that she brushed melted butter onto the biscuits before sprinkling the chocolate mixture on top. We can also add chocolate chips to enhance the richness and deep chocolate flavor. This pastry only takes less than 20 minutes to prepare and bake. This recipe is smart because it is a quick way to make shortcake without spending time kneading dough. Although it is a simple recipe, it is still a great way to get more strawberries in your day and enjoy a refreshing dessert flavor. This recipe works amazingly well, delivering the delicious flavor of strawberries, the sweetness of chocolate, and a soft, fluffy biscuit crust. It is proof of our grandparents' cleverness, knowing how to utilize readily available ingredients to create seemingly complex dishes. These recipes are not just food. They are also cozy memories of an era where frugality was a point of pride and convenience still went hand in hand with quality. We cherish these values. And to continue this journey, we introduce you to the video 25 Forgotten Ground Beef Recipes Our Grandparents Ate to Survive, Where Beef Recipes Shine. Which beef dish will surprise you? Stay tuned to find out. Don't forget to share this video with your loved ones so they can reminisce too. And subscribe to the channel so we can preserve this nostalgic culinary heritage together.